What is going, guys? My name is Sickness and welcome everybody to another video of mine. So today I'm going to be showing you how to speed up your Windows 10 for a power user and make sure you get that 100% gaming performance and making sure that Windows isn't slowing you down for no reason at all. So let's get straight into this, shall we? So yes, first of all, we're going to have to go right up to the start menu. Press down settings right there and you'll see this little window coming up. So first of all, let's go right into system and it will bring you something like this. Right, so first of all, we are going to go straight over to notifications and actions. So this is one thing I actually do like turning off just because I hate Windows showing me notifications. Also, this does actually like run a service in the background, and that is what we're trying to get rid of today, aren't we? Okay, so next of all, it is actually Focus Assistant, as you can see right there. I like to turn that off and just making sure everything is off so it isn't like showing me alarms and stuff while I'm playing my video games. And just make sure to turn off all the other boxes too. So obviously when I'm in a game and stuff, it doesn't do anything. So then we're going to go to power and sleep, right? So make sure that is on never and never. So let's say if you're downloading a game or something, then you don't have to make sure you're touching your PC like every 10 minutes. And for additional power settings, if you do have a Ryzen processor, make sure it's on AMD Ryzen balanced or just on the balanced modes right there. So yeah, now we're in storage. Make sure that actual storage sense thing is off. That kind of isn't great. So yeah, don't use that. So next of all, tablet, leave everything to default. Multitasking, honestly, that is all up to you guys. So going down to projecting to this PC, there's literally nothing to change. So yeah, shared experiences, make sure to leave that off and make sure, otherwise it's pinging like a Microsoft server and it's using another service that we don't really need, do we? So Clipboard right down here, this is completely up to you guys. I don't personally use it, but it's good to like copy and paste, I guess. If you press Control and V on your keyboard, then it would just show up like a clipboard history. Basically, it's pretty cool, but I don't really copy too much information. Remote desktop, I do not have it activated, and that's about it. So if we just go back to home right there, right, so we're just going to go to devices right down here. Make sure you go down to printers and scanners and make sure you turn off allow Windows to manage your default printer, unless guys, unless you do actually use a printer. But I don't use a printer. All I do is just send a file to my laptop or something and boom, just print it off there. So the next setting on mouse right here is scroll inactive windows when I hover over them. So if I just turn that off really quickly, I can show you a real quick example. So we're just going to scroll all the way down. And as you can see right down there, there is like a scroll thing. It's really cool. I like it. So going down to typing, there's literally nothing to do because it's all like good from like the default. Pen and Windows ink, unless you're using handwriting. I don't know how exactly that works, but yeah, basically it doesn't use another service, so we don't need to do that. Autoplay, I do actually like disabling that like that, just because it's basically running another service in background, and the less services you're running, the better, you know. And USB, it says notify me if there's any issues connecting to USB devices. It is kind of advised to turn that off, but I like having it on just in case I do put a USB in and it's like, nope, this USB port is broken. That is why I like having it on. It's completely up to you. If you're having an old PC or something, turn that off. But yeah, let's just go back to home now. Right, so next one, we go to network and internet right down here, and we go straight to the VPN tab, as there is literally nothing that we can really change on here. It's just showing that I'm using Ethernet and stuff. Good old dial up. But yeah, make sure you use turn off your VPN. If you do use a VPN like Surfshark VPN or Nord or anything like that, as long as you're running as an exe and not through actual Windows, then it will work perfectly. And proxy, just leave everything as default too. Now we can go back to the home tab. So next we're going to go to personalization. So there's a few things that I like to do on this section. So obviously background, you can see I've actually got like the Star Wars background. It looks freaking awesome. We got the snow going there. That is from Wallpaper Engine. So obviously I don't really change my background there. But for colors, it's completely up to you. If you're running an old computer, then I would honestly 100% recommend turning off transparency effects just down there. But yeah, so then we're going to go down to lock screen, and we are going to turn that to picture. The reason behind that is if you're using Windows Spotlight, basically it just chooses a different image every single day. Yes, it does look good, but it uses more internet, and I think it uses service as well. It says get fun facts, tips and more from Windows and Cortana on your lock screen. Make sure that is turned to off as well, guys, so make sure you turn that off. You can choose any picture you want, or you can actually browse for something on your computer. But yeah, so we're just gonna make sure this is none for all of these. There you go. And if you do have a kind of old computer that can't really run much, then make sure you turn that off as well. But yeah, so now we're gonna go into themes. Nothing really to change. Fonts, nothing really to change unless like you're installing a font, but I normally do that by double clicking on the actual font I'm using, if that makes any sense. For this bit, I always make sure that I do just turn basically everything off apart from show recently added apps. So we're just going to turn off that, and that. And then if I go to the start menu, you can see all my recently added apps just to see if anything like has been installed on my computer that I don't remember. Right, so the next thing, we're going to go down to taskbar right down here, and I always make sure that I disable replace command prompt with Windows PowerShell, because command prompt is so much better than PowerShell. So yeah, we're just going to turn that off right down there. I like to have my taskbar location on the left hand screen of the side. I used to have it on the bottom for like the longest time, but I just like having that vertical display kind of thing, you know? Completely up to you guys, and there's nothing else here. So we're just going to go to the home. Right, so moving on now, we're going to go on to apps, and there is a hefty amount of things to do here. So basically, what you're going to have to do is just go down every single app. For example, 3D Viewer, we don't really need that. So we're just going to uninstall that. Anything that you don't actually need, please just uninstall. But yeah, there's quite a bit. So we're going to make this as a time lapse. So as you can see, that is literally everything uninstalled, guys. So I think we had about 60 apps previously, but now we're on 45 apps. So yes, the next thing that you're going to do, just go down to default apps. Basically just set what your default web browser is. I do use Firefox myself. I did uninstall some video players, so that is why there's Windows Media Player there, because obviously this is my gaming PC, so I don't really need to watch films and stuff unless it's on YouTube. Next one is go down to offline maps, and this little page will load. So we just make sure we press delete all maps, then go down here, automatically update maps, and then turn that off. Apps to websites, I always leave that for default. Video playback, there's literally nothing to change right here. Startup, basically it's what is on your task manager. So if you bring this up, go startup and just choose what you want basically. But yeah, I only have Windows Defender, Realtek, because obviously I want some audio coming through, and my wallpaper engine, because, you know, I love this background. It looks so sick. But yeah, next thing that we go is home, and then the next tab is going to be accounts, guys. Right, so as I actually did make an offline account for this PC, I don't actually need to worry about any of this stuff. There's only a few settings that we do actually have to change. So email accounts, there's literally nothing unless you do add an account yourself. Sign-in options, always scroll down. Privacy, use my sign-in info to automatically finish setting up my device after an update or restart. So this is actually pretty cool. So basically, if you got like 50 PCs or something and you log in using your same Microsoft account on each PC, basically it would like sync your settings all across, what is absolutely awesome. But I only do have a streaming PC, a gaming PC, a laptop, so there is honestly no point. I don't mind doing these settings like a couple of times whenever I do have to reinstall. So yeah, just press that for off unless you do have like an online account. Then there's like work and school, there's nothing there. Family and other users, sync your settings, there's literally nothing to do there. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to home right there, and there is one amazing feature that I love about this. So time and language, so let's click on that, and as you can see it says set the timer automatically. It's currently 8:10 at night, 14th of January 2021. So basically it just pings a Microsoft server back and forth every single minute, being like, oh, is this for time, is this for time, is this for time, is this for time? And obviously we want the best performance in our PC. So whenever, let's say, the clocks change or anything, we just went to 9 past, so we just pinged to a Microsoft server. But yes, as I did say, basically whenever the time actually changes, or you can do this like once a month if you really want to, basically turn it off, turn it on, and then it will update what the current time is, and then just turn it off, because then you aren't going to be running a certain service on your PC. What is absolutely amazing, like the less services you're running on your PC, the better. But yeah, so basically it's not updating live now, but it's always going to be correct that time, unless the clocks go back, of course. So it's all correct for here. Region, language, and speech, you don't need to change anything. So let's go to home and let's get straight onto gaming. So first of all, Xbox Game Bar, don't know if you guys like it. I personally don't. It doesn't really affect performance, so I'm just going to turn that off right there. Captures, I always make sure that it's not doing anything at all. So we're just going to untick every single box there is, just so it doesn't record anything basically, because obviously I have a 2 PC setup. I don't want to record like even a screenshot onto this PC, otherwise I might lose a little bit of performance, you know. It's always best to use like Nvidia Shadowplay, AMD ReCentral, or even OBS, what I do use personally. I think it's called ReCentral. I know it's that AMD Radeon software thing. But yes, so game mode, turn that off. It is only good for PCs about 7-8 years old, so it doesn't really help modern day CPUs and GPUs. So Xbox networking basically just shows you what your Xbox connection status is, I guess. But yeah, so that is about it for the gaming tab. So next one, we're going to go to ease of access right down here, guys. So if you're on a really old computer, make sure to turn off show animations in Windows, because I don't know, I just like the animations. Do you know how it like got bigger? Like, and there was an animation to get to that size. I just really like how that is done, honestly. So I leave that on, but if you've got an old computer, please do turn that off. Show transparency in Windows, I can show you examples. So obviously that happens. So basically you can't see behind it basically, but that's only if you got an old PC. Automatically hide scroll bars in Windows, I turn that off, because then you actually get the little things instead of like actually being hidden. Because let's say if I want to go to that scroll wheel, I'm physically gonna have to like it pops in, and I really don't like how that is a thing, you know. So next one, mouse pointer, really up to you. I mean, you can make it super big, but I can't take it down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're now on the smallest size, so yeah, it's really up to you guys. But yeah, text cursor, this is one thing I really do like doing, so I'm going to turn that on. Let's say if I do that, and then you can actually see what is being selected. Let's say if I press the Windows button and then start typing, as you can see, there is like actual H kind of thing there, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's honestly so cool. I really do like it. Next thing, magnifier. I do actually like to turn everything off to do with magnifier, as it doesn't really help me. Make sure to turn off smooth edges of images and text as well. So same as the color filters, I am actually colorblind, but I don't really use it because it doesn't particularly help me at all. So yeah, I don't really use it. It's completely up to you though, personal preference. I also leave high contrast off as well. So narrator right down here, guys. So with narrator, it's actually left off by default. So if you do want it on, obviously just turn it on. But I do not like narrator one bit. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down and make sure every single box is turned off, because we do not want it even like running the background as a process, you know. and make sure where it says get image descriptions, page titles and popular links, make sure that is off as well. So just going through audio, there's nothing really to do in here. Closed captions, nothing at all. Just a bit like YouTube, that is, isn't it? Interaction speech, pretty sure this is like with Cortana. Keyboard, sticky keys, I always make sure that is off, because if I'm playing Minecraft or something, I do not want that like popping up mid spamming the buttons. And then mouse, there's nothing, and then eye control, unless you have something eye controlled, then yeah. So the next thing that I do like using is the search. So as you can see, there is a Microsoft account and a work or school account. Make sure you turn both of those off, completely unnecessary, unless you like syncing your devices with each other, but I don't really like syncing anything. And then another thing I do, I always make sure I turn off search history on this device and then clear the search device history, and just spam that a few times, and that should all be cleared off the engine now. So searching windows right up here, this has had an amazing update, but I don't really use the search button to be completely honest with you. So I leave it on classic, and then there isn't anything really else to do here. So this one is a massive one, guys. So if you just go straight onto privacy, I'd just like to turn everything off. So we just turned off everything on general, speech, inking, typing, personalization, diagnostic and feedback. Basically make sure that is on required, otherwise the optional diagnostic data is basically saying yes Microsoft, you can use all my data. Was not good one bit. Then scroll down and make sure you delete that data just there, and it says last delete request and feedback frequency. So basically it says Windows should ask for my feedback like whenever, like automatically, but I always make sure that is always on never. Activity history, I always make sure I turn off store my activity history on this device, as I don't want my activity history to be there. Then clear, and then that should be cleared. So for location, everything's just turned off by default, so we can't really do much here anyway. But for camera and microphone, these are some big ones, guys. So if you do stream, if you use Skype, if you use Discord, if you use anything that has to use your microphone, like talking even in a video game, keep this on, guys. But obviously this is my gaming PC, so I won't be using a camera one bit. So I'm just going to turn off the camera, Microsoft Photos and Xbox Game Bar. But you never know, in future I might plug in a camera to this PC. I don't know, like I can't tell the future. So we're going to leave that on there, but I'm going to turn off the other apps, okay? And then for a microphone, I'm just going to turn literally everything off. So camera, Cortana, Microsoft Photos and Xbox Game Bar. And then obviously these apps are allowed to be used because the microphone that I use on my PC is just for VR basically. And if I literally just press the off button right there, then when I'm playing VR games, nobody will be able to hear me, because in my Windows settings, I'm not allowing any single microphone to like access any apps. If that makes any sense at all, if you're ever confused by anything that I'm saying in this video, make sure just to comment down below. I know this is a very, very long video, but I want to make sure I'm very thorough with this. And then voice activation, we can literally just turn everything off right here. But yeah, so you have to make sure you turn off those, turn off that as well. Notifications, I don't really like receiving a notification, so I turn that off. Account info, I don't want Microsoft to know anything about my account info, so I turn that off as well. Contacts, don't even have any, but let's turn that off as well. Calendar, don't use it, turn it off, because obviously these are using services how they are. Phone calls, I don't use phone calls on this anyway. There are so many features that I don't use on here. Call history, obviously, as I said, I don't use calls. Email, I don't use because I just use like a web browser for it. Tasks, I make sure that is off as well. Messaging, that I think is like connected to your phone somehow, but I don't connect my phone to it. Radios, I don't listen to radios. But yeah, other devices, make sure that is turned off as well. And for the background apps, okay, this is a big one, especially if you are a Nvidia user. So when you're a Nvidia user, basically it says like Nvidia control panel or something, and this is every single app that is currently running in the background. So let's say if I launched up a program, then boom, it will be there instantly. It won't have like a brief period that it's gonna take time to actually fully load. So basically what it's asking you is what applications you mainly use. Like for example, people. I don't need people loading up instantly on my PC, and this is going to make your start time so much faster as well. So obviously I don't use alarms and clocks. I do use calculator quite a bit, so I'm going to leave that on there. Camera I don't use, so we're going to turn that off. Cortana I definitely don't use. Get help I don't use. Maps don't use. Photos don't use. Store don't use. Settings I do use. Sticky notes I might use in future, so I do want to keep that on. Voice recorder don't use, obviously. Windows security, obviously I'm using that every single day. Xbox game bar, turn that off, and your phone. Next one is app diagnostic, guys, so I'm just going to turn that straight off right there. Automatic file downloads, there's nothing to do there. Documents, I do like leaving this one on as it does have Windows security on as well. Pictures, I always make sure that is off. Videos, I always make sure that's off as well. And file system, turn it off. And let's go back to the home tab. So there's only one thing that we actually have to do in update and security. Just go in there, make sure you check for updates. I've already checked for updates today anyway. But yeah, go into delivery optimization and make sure that is turned off. Basically, it allows downloads from other PCs if it's from your local network or anywhere in the world. Yes, it may speed up your download speed, but you don't want your PC connecting to other PCs and such alike. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do, press the Windows button. As you can see, that feels so much more snappier now we've done that. Just type in system right there, and you should see system right here. So we're just going to click onto that. It should bring up this little section right here. And make sure you go on advanced system settings, guys. So I'm just going to click onto that, exit out of that. Then we're going to go to performance. And then we're going to untick everything that I am currently unticking. Make sure you do slide open combo boxes, press apply, and boom, your Windows is snappy. But yes, guys, I'm now going to end up this video here. I hope this has been informative in one way or another. I have put so much effort into this video because I have been recording for a solid 37 minutes, guys. If you do have any questions or anything down below in the comments, please do let me know. Honestly, it would mean the world to me. If you do have a slow PC and these aren't really helping you in your games or even just browsing Windows, then let me know down below by leaving your CPU, your GPU, and your RAM. But yes, as I did say, guys, my name has been Wolfsignus. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Peace out, much love, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to dab out, everybody. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.